dokie, gentlemen. Are we all here ready to fucking go? I asked you all a question! As I reveal my giant monkey! That's not as funny as you thought it was, boy!
God, I thought he meant penis!
I swear, the only thing I hate more than weaklings. Hey! I'm speaking, soldier! Don't fucking speak unless you're smart as fucking dirt! What we're gonna do is we're gonna fly with
The talk show at the end of the week.
Space is big.
Star Citizen Base.
It's really big.
Round Table.
Alright, we got this? Yeah, we got this. There we go. Hello. We're live here on the Base Radio. On the usual Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, Sunday show. Star Citizen Base Roundtable here, where we sit around and talk Star Citizen news, but not just news. Also, hello, favorite one, Harold Spark. What's up? But also, salt,
Salsa.
No.
pepper, all sorts of stuff. You know. It's something of everything. Anyway, whatever. You were here listening in the chat or on Twitch or on Shoutcast. If you're on Shoutcast, that's fine. You know, happy. But if you happen to chance, go join our Twitch chat at twitch.tv/TheBaseRadio. You can also find it on our website, even through the app. I think you can join the chat while listening to Shoutcast. How fancy is that? It's insane. Although I don't know if it... Yeah, it should work. So, which is, yeah, that's where we are, in the Twitch chat. And it's where you are. Well, you should be, because we also collect questions in the form of the usual, you know, rules, which go as follows. I will just do this bot thing. Start, and then it'll say something. You see, that's how it works. Now taking questions. If you want to prefix your questions with question in square brackets or Q in square brackets, then just after that type your question, it'll get submitted. So we're here with supposedly the usual crew. Eden, I don't even know. Just like half an hour before the show, he's like, I need to go. Do things.
Imagine this.
She's gonna be late like a diva.
Like a diva. Imagine this.
Just too important.
There
right?
is a life. There is a life outside of the internet. Outside of the doorway that keeps you prisoner. Open the door. Walk out. Experience the sunshine. It's fucking crazy out
that
there.
Big yellow ball in the sky.
Radiation.
I thought those were aliens. No?
Only problem with going outside, you have to deal with other people.
You have to what? Oh.
Deal with people. Yeah. Here you could choose whether
Oh my
you
god, it's
like
Zeus.
to deal with people or not.
What's up? You're here. That's nice. So yeah. I think there was at least plenty of news from the week. I actually didn't even expect them to do another ship sale though so soon. It's okay. That's pretty cool. Nice. I mean, I don't know how many times have we really said this? Like, the more ships, better. The more versatile the universe. More ships equals more gameplay. That's always better. So, with that said,
We agree on that.
we all agree.
Yeah.
So that's it then.
Oh, yeah.
Show's ended.
The show's over.
Mm-hmm.
I
So what? Of anything, if we leave the salt alone for now
of course.
and come back to that later. the biggest news is the continuing confirmation by the type of cargo ships and military ships they keep providing to us that indicates that ground warfare, ground operation, ground mining, ground everything is not only going to be a thing, but something that's going to be, they think players and the AI is going to be heavily involved in.
It's amazing how this game flipped 180 degrees, isn't it? From
180.
Well, it was the best damn space sim ever, and now it's really less about space. Don't you think? It's a lot less about space now than what it was.
Well, it's still
When-
sci-fi.
It used to be
space.
When we first started doing this?
It was 100% about bases and space station and stations on Earth, and now, or on planets and moons. Now it's about every goddamn thing under the sun.
Well, it's sci-fi space, but it now includes surface, outposts, ground,
Yeah, well,
Mining
if you
things.
remember, Rellim, like
rocks. Yeah.
I don't know, three years ago we talked about, oh, are players going to be able to, let's make space great again? Fucking A, right?
That was my thing. Yeah.
We were always talking about, are we going to be able to dominate stations, take control of stations? That was the big thing, right? Organizations were
Mhm.
concerned that they were going to be able to like
Missions.
grab
and
a
planets.
station. Well, it wasn't
Remember?
even a thought back then, you know.
Well, but we thought they could make maps for us where you had a cinematic entry into part of a planet, and there would be a map there which you can then do a mission on the planet. And we thought that's highly plausible that they could do something. They took it to a whole nother level. They took it on another level that isn't been ever done.
Ever.
It's the size of everything can't be compared. There is no other game like this.
Mhm.
I don't think, even when you play and run around on the planets now in the PTU or on live, you comprehend the amount of gameplay that you can have on just one of those fucking moons.
Yeah, considering the fact that in some Citizen Con or whatever, they were talking about the size of the crater on Delamar being the size of the map in Skyrim.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but seeing how it's a flat crater bed, it's nothing in there though.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's a
I have a
moon,
picture of it too.
not even a big moon. It's just a moon.
Hmm.
So imagine a larger moon with atmosphere, and that has more formation, air, water, creatures, cities. Imagine a planet with the same amount, with different habitat, different biomes. Like when they landed on the planet, and you had sandworms and you had sand people, and imagine having something equally similar for jungle, for bushland, for in the mountains, for snow, all that stuff, cool stuff. Think of every film you've ever seen, every book you've ever read about space and the future, any sci-fi. I'm pretty sure any sci-fi book you ever read is going to be represented somehow or similar in Star Citizen.
it seems that way. Well, all fiction has some basis in reality. So we kind of create that which we know and then take it to the next level, which is kind of what they're doing. And we just didn't think that the technology was going to accommodate even the planets, the moons that we see at this time. I didn't think it was going to be that soon. Remember back in the day, they said, oh yeah, we're going to research procedural planet generation. It'll be somewhere down the line. But somebody gave up their life to to create this technology out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it has dominated the entirety of game development. It's all about planets now.
Yep.
Which is why I say the game has kind of taken a 180-degree turn. It's less about space. Space is the means to get to the place where shit is going to happen. Shit will obviously happen in space, but I think to a much lesser extent than we had originally anticipated.
At least if you're going to have, I think it's going to be a divide between humans and AI. It's always going to be a divide in what they prioritize, what they want to hold. Some people will want to hold some stuff on planets and in space. Some people will stick to planets, some people, or moons, or surfaces, or asteroids. Some people would like to stick to, just space. So it's going to be a multitude, and the larger the organization, the more you're probably going to hold in the same area. And we're not talking about whole moons or planets. We're probably just talking about staking out rich resource areas, holding them, defending them. Because you have to go where the money is. And it's going to be finding rich asteroid fields, then holding that area, chasing off competitors. Same thing on planets, staking out land, and then protecting that land.
So it's going to be complicated for a lot of people, considering what is the average game time per day of the average gamer?
It's 22 hours a week, right?
A week, and most of that time is probably spent on the weekend. So during the week, what do you think you get? A couple hours, a few hours?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you really don't have a problem not sleeping.
The average gamer is married, a couple of kids, and late 20s, and have full-time job. So and it's probably going to be more so.
So I guess the trick is, how do you make a living playing Star Citizen so you don't have to go to your full-time job?
You have friends. That's
you start
the only
Twitch
way.
Streaming now.
Make friends.
No, but you have to join an org to be able to make money in the game.
Yeah, well, I'm saying make money on the game, outside of the game, so you don't have to go to work, so you could play 60, 70 hours a week.
Hell no.
That doesn't sound like a good time?
No. Sounds like a lot of work.
I'm sure there's people that are going to do it.
Oh, yeah, people already do that.
We are friends, we hamster. Whether you like it or not, we're all friends. Marry a rich person, yeah. That's cute.
No, it's Star Citizen. You will have your job. Most people won't quit their job. Most people want to rearrange their life around the game. They will keep playing the same amount of time. There will be like any other games, when you start playing, there's a surge. But it evens out over a few weeks, couple of months, depending on which game it is, how interesting, a lot of stuff there is to do. Eventually, you will have to go back to work. Eventually, your holidays is spent. Eventually, you will have to eat. Eventually, you will go back to work. Eventually, your wife will kick you out if you don't go back to work.
That is a true story.
Or your landlord will kick you out, or they will take the power, so you can't play. So it's super simple. Eventually, it will even out, and we're not talking, when we talk about average game time, how much people, we're not talking about what people plan to do, because what people plan to do, they do for a couple of weeks, maybe 3, maybe a month. And after that, unless you live in your mom's basement and don't have to go to work, that's what you're going to do.
Well, I might have to move back into my mom's basement in a few years then. I got a nice big basement.
How do you then make money in the game during the weekdays? The 5 weekdays you have to work, so that you can play a lot during the weekends. You want to do other things. Some people, they just want to trade. That's fine. for them the game is going to be good, but they still need to join a group of people that have somebody to take care of their shit while they're at work, while they are having dinner, family time with kids and spouses, etc. So that's why you are in an org. That's why you have cooperation. That's why you do what you do. When you are there, you take care of other people's shit. When you are gone there, take care of your shit. And in the end of the week, you tally up and you see what's there, and then you divide.
Georgep357 poses an interesting question, but does the average Star Citizen player equal the average gamer? And the answer is yes and no.
Mhm.
The average gamer bought the game for $45 and walked the fuck away and said, call me when it's ready and I'll play. The people who are here, or you guys, they're not the average gamer. You got issues. These guys here at this round table got fucking issues.
We all got issues.
Yes, not the average gamer, no. The people who are jumping up and down screaming bloody murder on Reddit and Facebook and all this stuff, they're not the average gamer. They're the outlier.
Yep. Now, but to delve further down into the question is, the average SC player, is going to be a little bit older, but will he play other MMOs? Because those 22 hours is divided over all MMOs.
That's the average Star Citizen player now, and it's probably given that by the time it's in a playable state, a lot of younger audience will join up with it, as you will get.
When it's more finished, yeah. Young kids don't like too much early access shit that's completely broken. I mean, my kids play. The oldest is 17, and he'll play early access shit, but it has to have all the fundamentals of the game working in order for him to engage it. If it's missing mechanics, it's very short-lived for them. All three of my kids do it. So I agree with George again. He says the average Star Citizen player is probably 35 to 45-ish on average, with a higher than average income, because everything right now is crazy expensive. Crazy.
Well, we'll see. Depending on how many millions of players is going to determine the average age. And if we get 10 million players, the average age is going to be pretty damn close to the average game of everybody else. Yeah, it's
be all the 15-year-olds.
Yeah, 27.
And they say, "Mom, I need
buy me a ship.
access to PayPal so I can buy a ship for this cool game."
Yeah,
it's like educational because it's space and it's science. It's good for my development.
Physics class, right?
Well, most young kids I don't think play those games. So like space engineers, what do you think the average age of a space engineer player is? Probably mid-20s to mid-30s. Somewhere where you're still psychologically engaged in problem solving and physics and all these.
You just want to shoot things. That's not for them.
Right, exactly. So if there's too much involved in it, it turns younger people off. I think that's why Call of Duty was a big hit with the 20-somethings.
Yeah, well, although it's funny how even Minecraft has burrowed itself into a younger audience a bit more than it used to be. Probably because they release most of that shit on consoles now, even on legacy consoles for that matter. If you have an old Xbox, I'm not sure which one, but on one of the older Xboxes, I think you can still play Minecraft online and it's still updated, although not concurrently with the newer versions. They keep updating that a little bit later, I think. Yeah, they get creative. I don't know how that works exactly. I haven't done that in a while.
Oh, I know when my kids used to play Minecraft, they used to build everything so they could burn it with lava.
Or
And
blow
that's-
it with dynamite. Stack
Blow it
up
up.
more dynamite.
That's
But
Built to
stack up
blow it
more
up.
dynamite there in this room on the planet, and then see what happens if your computer card fries.
So I think that when my kids in particular, because I can't speak for everybody's kids, but when my kids see actual gameplay mechanics that allow you to blow up a base with a bomber ship, they're probably going to get pretty engaged at that point. When you can actually destroy people's shit.
Or work towards the goal of having a bomber ship.
Right.
You know, when what you do have a meaning and it doesn't get reset.
Well, there is, however, a thing when you're talking about you know, how they can learn stuff from it. There is a thing lately that even some teachers do use games sometimes to, especially I think the war games with the historical World War II stuff in it. They occasionally do use that because sometimes it does give you a nice indication, like a good indication of how, say, for instance, D-Day went, and in turn maybe how maybe at one point they could use Star Citizen or maybe even, you know, space engineers to teach children how physics works, you know, motion, and you know, if you're in 0G and you know, in places where there's no friction, you know, you keep going, blah blah blah, Newtonian physics. Well,
That's funny that you say that. I was looking at a Facebook post on Star Citizen Facebook, whatever, Ready Player One or something, that was talking about how Star Citizen isn't even close.
Well, yeah.
They have the generalization of Newtonian physics, but that's not how like ships and all that respond. They don't respond realistically. If you watch like the docking of something on the ISS space station, it's nothing like what you see in Star Citizen. Thrust, counter thrust.
Yeah, so in Star Citizen they've added
The future, man.
a magnitude of 1,000 more powerful engines.
Yeah.
Right? They've added a magnitude of 1,000 more powerful computers that can do all this calculation, so that whatever you do, you can make it feel like and turn like you have some friction, but you still slide like it's 0G, and you can turn off what's it called again? You can go into free flight.
Sure, decoupled mode and all that shit,
Yeah.
right?
Inertial.
Yeah, well, they
So-
fixed some of that. They fixed some of that stuff because remember the ships were sliding, and all of the ace pilots and some of just your average, you know, arena commander players were
Didn't
freaking
like
the
it.
fuck out. Yeah, I don't like it. It's just, you know, it's too
Too
squishy.
realistic.
It's too realistic. Exactly.
Yeah, no,
So,
I get that.
They
Built
will
to
never be
fun. That's
astronauts, they
probably
said.
still gameplay. You hear that
But
all the time when
that
Chris
is-
talks. It's like realistic, but
But that is the
gameplay.
lore, isn't it?
I played some games that had actual Newtonian physics that were fun. I mean, they were hard as fuck because once you got velocity going, it was really fucking difficult to stop. So there were some basic space games back in the day that were kind of like modeled after asteroids, but they weren't as basic in principle as asteroids, where once you got the inertia, it was damn near impossible to stop.
But Rellim, isn't that the lore of Star Citizen, that the spaceship flies the way they do due to the fact that they have computers that can mimic to make it easier for the pilots? I seem to have read that many years ago.
I don't care anyway.
Well, that's the idea behind the IFCS, though, you know. This
Yeah.
Intelligent Flight Control System is supposed to take care of all of that shit for you. Thrust, counter thrust. Technically, if you in Star Citizen decouple and forward thrust to max speed, which I don't know, it's debatable whether or not there should be a max
Yeah,
speed.
exactly.
Right. Okay, whatever. Let's
real world.
bypass that fucking argument. You can cut your thrusters off and basically float.
I think that's
You're
what the game
technically not
does, though,
floating because it's
because
space.
you go to max
It does.
speed, you won't use up any more fuel unless you change motion.
Well, the nice thing that they could do to reinforce that fact is have the engines actually cut off instead of constantly having the engines
Yeah, you keep seeing the
look
flame
like
on
they're
the
burning.
trails.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't look like. It's
It looks like it's thrusting you.
yeah.
We'll
But,
see.
Can you still decouple at
Mm-hmm.
afterburn and turn
Oh,
around, firing
yeah.
backwards
Any speed.
while maintaining full afterburn speed?
If you're decoupled, yes.
Sometimes, just to be sure, I just turn off the engines completely and then just keep floating. It's funny actually because most of the physics there when you go into planetary atmosphere actually do work, because as soon as you hit that that edge for where you see the entry burn, you'll actually and usually I just for fun like I said, I turn the engines off. So usually what happens then is as soon as I enter that atmospheric entry, your vector starts pointing further down because you grab into the gravity well of the planet or the moon, and you just slowly drift your ship down instead of that it was going forward before, and then you crash if you don't change soon enough.
I don't know what you mean there, sir. Will I be read? You can comment all day long. It's an open discussion. That's why it's called a round table. So there's no censorship. Well, there is censorship here, but it's to a much lesser extent than
I think
the shit that's going on in the UK. But that's a different story.
what Red Dawn says is probably. I mean, it has to do with gameplay thing too. I mean, you can't just go endlessly fast. But of course, I think servers need to keep up with that too. It has happened all over Space Engineers before, and there are mods that you can install that allow you to change, that allow you to go faster. But I mean, they put the limit in for a reason with the game designers, because if you go faster, it just starts getting more buggy because the sim speed of the server.
Well, sure, because you can't get updates.
Yeah, it can't just it gets more difficult and difficult to keep track of you, because for the computer, you're still in a world and you're moving through that map, a world, and anything that's attached to you needs to keep updated and motion.
Just to stab that cow finally and once and for all. Your max speed in space is determined by your own mass and the amount of power you have to push that mass away from the object you're attached to, like the Earth, like the moon, like the sun. So yes, there is a max speed that it's determined by the power of your engines, basically, and the time you have to accelerate, and whether there are humans on board or not, etc. So there is, there is a max speed, because you can't really push any further than that with the engine you have currently. That's how it works, right? In space, and it will be like that in 900 years in the future. So they've just set a lower max speed than is feasible or plausible based on 900 years in the future.
Sure, but you're just trying to tie some semblance of reality into the restriction of game engines in general, because a big fat resto cow, that is funny, because that's a World of Warcraft like resto druid, right? That's funny. I like that name. It says we're kind of at the whim of CryEngine, which technically is accurate, Lumberyard, CryEngine, whatever, it's all relative. But it's not just CryEngine that has this limitation. It's just the way that gaming netcode works and frame updates. If you watched, what was it, last month or a month before, when that German dude went through that whole breakdown on how game frames actually get updated and how they're trying to do predictive updates and all that shit with their engine so that they can get better performance. It's all relative. They all do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So until there's a better way to have a game engine process data, it will probably stay that way across all engines. Because if they have the issue in Space Engineers certainly isn't built on CryEngine. I think that they built their own engine, did they not?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So it's just a limitation of the way that the original engineering of a game engine was designed, and they all basically follow the same template with just different ways of executing the same commands.
I think there's a reason why they did that stat crunch a while ago. Or stat crunch, it was more like speed crunch, where they just scaled everything down.
You mean CIG when they slowed all the ships down?
Yeah.
Well, I think that was probably
Because it's all scaled, it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah. But it didn't have a significant increase in performance at that point when they did that. And it did not improve gameplay like they thought it was going to, because they wanted to slow the game down a little bit to have a more engaged dogfight like you would in, say, like War Thunder or something of that nature. And it's space. It just is what it is. When we get big, slow, lumbering ships in the universe, it will be a hell of a lot different than it is a bunch of fucking lightning fast fighters jousting each other in Arena Commander. You know, it's going to completely change everything. So you can't make a determination on how shit should happen without having, let's say, the Idris having to defend itself against, whatever. Now we got the Hurricane, which is supposed to be some sort of cat ship killer or whatever the fuck, a whole swarm of bees or whatever, like they said. So that'll change everything. And maybe they'll fucking speed them up or slow them down or flip them upside down. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Balance isn't happening yet.
I think they will have to increase a little bit. I think the speed is going to go up. I think damage is going to be more. Battle is going to be prolonged, both due to how hard it is to hit, how tougher the ships are, and the speed of the ships. So the battle is going to be turned. But most likely, if you're alone in your ship, you're not going to have an I win ship because most ships can just speed away. You will have to have multiple ships, one to trap, one to do this, one to do that, multiple missile. You have to have the ability to spam. It's not going to be like, unless somebody really wants to dogfight you, you're not dogfighting, period. You're jousting if the other people want to joust. Otherwise, you're just running away. So it's... and
then it's he who has the most fuel wins.
Well, if you get to go up to, you have to burn up to max speed, and that's it.
Power management.
You spend enemy fuel after that, so you can do that indefinitely while you wait for, backup.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that's going to be an interesting development when that starts to become a thing. Because right now people engage, but when there are actual consequences to engagement, I think there will be a lot more running than there will be, hey, I'll go toe to toe with you because it doesn't matter because I'm just going to respawn like 800,000 kilometers away and reclaim my ship and call it,
Yeah, it's going to be a shit ton. Well, now it's going to be like that. Later on, it's going to be like, no, this is going to cost me a lot of time. Time is money. I don't only have that much time, so it's going to cost me half an hour to run away and wait for backup. That's fine. It's going to cost me 2 hours to die, and a shit ton of money.
Plus the money for the yeah.
So it's and the wait for the ship, and or I have to go back and pick up another ship, and that's going to cost me another hour while I wait for this ship to be, forwarded to me, etc. So you might be spawning in the correct location, but you have at this point no ship. So you will have to then hitch a ride or get somebody to give you a ride, etc. So or do your work on somebody else's ship. So there's so much gameplay that comes into play that is going to lend itself to people just running away instead of staying and fighting. Now, that's where ground comes in and is way different. You on the ground in a vehicle that is not a spaceship or at a base, you're not running anywhere. You're fighting. And that's one of the cool factors about having planets and asteroids and bases, etc. Combat on bases, combat on asteroids, moons, planets, etc. is more of it's like a concentration of actionable areas.
I don't disagree.
Wisdom.
I also don't. I don't disagree with Resto Cow when he says the death dynamic should not be trivial. Absolutely. There should be a penalty. And I know a lot of people don't like that idea, but it should be harsh. Death should be fucking harsh. You should be forced to make real decisions. Like, do I want to get involved in this? If I am on the ground and I go into this area, what are my chances of success? What's the probability? And then what's the cost if I fail? You should be forced to run all of that through your head quickly to make a decision. Do I take the chance or do I find somewhere else to be? I absolutely. I hope it's like that. We'll see.
We'll see. This is about time for a music break. We're a little late anyway. The questions are still running. Some people have already submitted some. You can keep doing that.
Make it up.
Yeah, we'll just be back after this and we'll talk some more. Yeah, nothing else. See ya. in a minute.
Ships, big expensive ships.
What's up?
What's up?
Someone,
There's half a person.
half a person.
Yep, it's all crazy now. There she is. Hi.
Hello.
Give me a
I'm
second.
TO for the day.
You're half a TO. It's weird.
No, I got you.
We got to figure out how to get you in there. Oh, nope. There's too many TOs. That's an issue. Oh, TO is not Juntao. That's not going to work. There's an Eden Star. The magic of technology and cropping and all this weird shit. Dan, you're fast with that stuff too. You're getting good.
Oh, it's easy. You hold Alt. That's the crop key.
It's all about the all.
Hello,
You're
everybody.
like on one of those space stations that's like quantum traveling through the universe. You see that background? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Just-
pretty cool.
It's a bug.
What's up, Eden?
No, it's not a bug.
Bring back the red chair.
It's a long exposure shot of yellow.
Cool.
Did you take that picture then?
Just grab stuff out of my screenshot folder. Gotta have
Fancy.
something
How was-
in the background.
How was the shower?
It was okay.
Did you
I
eat?
was there for like 30 minutes.
You didn't eat?
I grabbed a couple bites. But like since I came late to the party,
There's a
went
party?
downstairs where the baby shower was located, and like the other little babies like stared me down because I had the plate of food. So they just came towards me and death stared at me while I'm eating. I'm like, hi, what do you need? And all the adults are like, oh, he wants your food. So, like, that was adorable.
They don't feed their children in Maryland?
They do. But you
Weird.
know how kids are. They see something they want, they'll grab, they ask for more.
Mommy, can I have
I'm not-
that?
Yep. I want hers.
Right.
that too.
Because if somebody else has it, they've got to have it.
Yep.
But when they have it, it's not good enough.
That's right. So I don't know if we've had the public announcement made yet, but I'll do it right now. Congratulations, because Eden Star is now officially a licensed architect, from what I was told.
Yes.
God help
How
us all.
exciting. God
Yes.
help the world.
It's a
Babies are good eaten.
Welcome back, Eden.
wait,
I'm not
baby.
sure what he means. He says you're mystically epic. What the fuck does that mean?
He's running out of words to use. That's what that means.
Mystically. That's cool.
Thank you, thank you. So sorry I'm late. I was at a baby shower.
We're not sorry at all. Stop spreading lies.
I told everybody that
Lies. I'm sorry. What?
outside of the cable that runs through the magic of time space continuum, there's a life out there that people could go
No.
find things outside of nice outside of the internet. It's fucking crazy.
I know.
Mr. Bean is not happy with you.
Who?
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. You've not seen Mr. Bean?
Oh, can you please keep the creepers out of my square?
Your square, right?
This is my square.
He's touching.
He's like right behind me. Get him away. No.
Well, at least we don't do the damn Star Kitten stalker thing that was happening there for a while.
Oh god, she has like dead eyes. You can't trust that. She had the same stare as the little children that were watching me eat. Like
It was freaking you out, right?
they didn't even blink while I was eating. They just stared at me like, hey.
She obviously don't have kids. When
I
kids
obviously
come
don't
up
have
to you
kids.
and are rude, you tell them to. What do we tell them, Gentile? In the nicest possible term.
I tell him to piss off.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Oh no, I just let them stare at me. It's not gonna do anything. Although they started grabbing things off my plate because I was on their level. so one of them started reaching for the plate, like hovered over the strawberry and looked at me.
Is that like an Asian joke?
I wasn't at an Asian.
Because you're short?
No. I was sitting on the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There, you can be at crappy looking. What is it again? The name?
Is that Hurston?
Hurston, yeah. The lining zone.
Hurston's great, man. Hurston's going to be awesome.
But yeah, speaking of stars and updates, there we can go through all of that crap that we had. This is the Hurricane.
That ship is
But-
going to be awesome.
I like the design idea behind it. If you watch Reverse to Verse and Matt Sherman was talking about this ship, he said if you're in its upper 300 or 180 degree sphere, you're in trouble. But if you're below it, it's vulnerable.
Right, yeah.
It's an interesting way to balance.
How
But they're-
fast do you turn, though? It's going to be like
That's
this.
what I was thinking. You just rotate. But that
I don't know.
ship has to protect itself, because if there's people scattered around, people are going to be looking for the belly
Yeah, but
shot,
that's-
right?
You know, that's why we had the discussion earlier, remember, many years ago. And for some reason, a shit ton of people went apeshit when you started talking about formations. And the reason you use formation is that some ships are glass cannons and need tails. They need protectors. They need ships that fly around them in circles, taking off, incoming. And this is one of the ship that is going to be a boom and zoom. And they need other ships, more light ships, to take care of hunters that comes for these ships. But because this is going to be one of the ships that can deal a lot of damage. Remember what they said, it's not a dogfighting ship.
Nope.
It's a boom and zoom ship against equal size ships or bigger. You know, a squadron of these can really do damage to larger ships, by focusing fire on specific areas.
I sense a lot of dead hammerheads.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Hammerhead. You got some
Well,
updated
Hammerhead
footage of
can
that too.
You have to remember that I think that Hammerhead also need escort. It's not a ship that should be flying alone.
I'm kind of thinking that the majority of ships are going to want escort unless you are like a Terrapin type ship, where you're a little more stealthy,
Vanguard.
you're reconnaissance or something of that nature. And then some of the smaller freighters probably won't need escort, like a freelancer size ship. Maybe the Hull C,
That-
maybe, but it's pretty big.
Hull C is depending
But
on where you go, right?
Right.
You stay safe areas and you go lane to secure lanes to secure lanes. You're probably going to be fine. But it's about how much money are you transporting? How much risk are you taking? Do you want to go without insurance to make more money? It's maybe escort is cheaper, if you know what I mean, than insurance. So and it's I think that ships like Vanguard probably going to go in patrols in sets of 2, 3, or 4, and they're going to be deadly as a pack. Because it's not about I'm alone in my Vanguard and I'm going to kill everybody. It's going to be, it's as you see the ship on the screen now, that ship requires a lot of people. Not
Hercules,
only
yeah.
the people to man guns, AI, etc. It requires a crew to load and offload, etc. It requires crew for whatever you're offloading. And remember what he said there. We don't know what people are gonna do, but we foresee in the future people dumping off 200 Marines for an ambush on the base. That's paraphrasing. That's not what he said. He said 200, and the rest is me paraphrasing.
Well, that's assuming that you have a lot of friends.
Or you're in the org. You don't have to have any friends, but you have to be in an org.
Well, and then that opens up a bunch of questions, like, are you going to be able to hire NPC Marines, and are they going to be combat effective?
The answer to that currently is yes. Combat effective, who knows?
Right.
But, if they've already showcased that you can have, a close Marine buddy with you, right? And I'm pretty sure that any Marine you have attached to the ship doing task on when you landed off the ship is going to be, capable of picking up a weapon and shooting. And based on the proficiency they have with that weapon, they're going to be deadly within that realm. So if you, as an human, just think you can run, left, right, the AI probably is going to hit you. You know what I mean? If you do like this, up and down, head bobbing, up and down, crouching, running, I think that's going to be enough. I'm praying that CIG will say, no, AI will not see that at all. They will just shoot your ass. No up and down, no sideways when that comes in, no head bobbing, no nothing. That's going to be, you wouldn't do in real life, is going to be allowed in the game for the AI to be effective. And that's probably going to be how the AI is effective. They're going to hit you if you're in the open and not being evasive. And it's going to be based on a pattern. The further away you are, the less chance of them hitting you, the more spread, etc. and stuff like this. But once you get closer and you're in the open, they're probably going to hit you.
We should hope so, I think.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about aesthetics. And what's everybody's overall opinion of this new
Behemoth?
It's complete departure from anything that they've developed so far, right? It's really extremely futuristic looking to me personally.
I think it's in line with the Starliner.
You think so? Because
Yeah.
they kind of took that long The Starliner is basically like a Airbus.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me, a fucking Airbus
Mhm.
with a little bit of a pointy nose and a big ass wingspan on the back. But this thing is
Mhm.
just kind of just different.
It's like it's like a C1 Hercules, or one of the even bigger military ships, in the shape of a B-1 bomber, and then
Kind
the
of.
long snout on front, and a long snout on the front, especially that bomber section, if you know what I mean.
Did you
But,
see this crazy shit, Eden? This Hercules thing that went on sale, or whatever? It's not on sale.
There's like 3 different versions of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see there, you saw the mother of all bombs.
Yeah, that guy right there. Yeah, that's crazy shit.
You can
Did
have
you
4
buy
of those.
What's that?
Did you buy one?
Fuck no.
Fuck
We
no.
talked about this already. 2018
I-
has no funds reserved for CIG at all. 0. Especially with a couple other things that were going on that I don't really understand and don't appreciate. No money for CIG in 2018. But like you see this, like I'm talking about the silhouette, the whole just general look of this. Is that appeals to you too? You like that thing? Because Wee Hamster says he really likes it.
No, I like it
I
too.
think it's nice. I like the form of it. It's a little different.
It's yes.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
word
It's
we're looking
different
for.
from
It's
what they were
new.
doing.
It's
But
And-
not
new.
all the pictures look the same, because the picture that's on the stream now and the next picture, are they different variants of the ship? Because they're different. One has
so
a
the
longer neck.
The variants
the
are
military.
different holes.
They're
completely.
physically
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bomber version, basically the one where you have bombs or more guns, basically have a longer neck on it, from what I can understand. The civilian version has a longer neck, while the military fright version has a short neck. You saw an image with all 3 of them there earlier. There you go. You see that? So 2 longs and 1 short.
I mean,
They're still
you got to
concept,
completely
though.
get. You got to completely get it, because I think the idea behind the start of it anyway was exactly the tank transport ship, the drop ship for armored vehicles. That's
Mhm.
probably where the concept started. How are we going to get these fucking tanks to the battlefield? You know, and then they just expanded on it from there. The idea of these big ass bombs, they're not even rockets, they're not torps, they're bombs, right?
Free falling.
Free fall bombs.
Guided free falling.
So it changes the dynamic of the game again. So every base that Eden designs through my Pioneer gets bombs dropped on it by somebody. And we're going to be mad as fuck. Be like, what the fuck just happened?
I just made that base.
Yeah, exactly. All those resources just cooked just like that. Shit's
So
getting
it's-
crazy in Star Citizen.
Yeah, well, that's why we need, you know, it's going to be expensive. A mother of all bombs is going to cost a shit ton of money. I mean, if you think the prices for a missile is expensive,
Sure.
imagine the price for one of those, or a size 9 torpedo.
Probably buy a bunch of ships with that kind of currency.
Yep. You don't
The Super
waste money.
Super 5 says
Nothing.
that tanks can be delivered with the Idris as well. And that is true, but that's not the purpose of the Idris. It has a different role within the game. I think that the Hercules transport was specifically designed to be a transport, where the Idris is more like a space patrol ship, from what I understand.
You saw one of the images that's on the website. You see the military transport version is flying away from it looks like a gazillion missiles coming after it. It has some probably going to have some real active defenses, you know. So it's going to be coming in hot, dropping off, I mean, even the one that has more guns or bombs still have cargo capacity and the drop-off capacity, capability. It's not like they're taken away; they're just cutting it in. I don't remember if it was half or more.
Yeah, half. I think they said, and would only have one cargo door in the front.
You
The
know,
Mustang rework is looking pretty good there.
Did you guys see this though? I mean, I actually didn't assume them
The
to do it this
scanning thing?
way because I thought that scanning was just going to be another MFD on the cockpit HUD, like a screen.
I really
it's
like.
augmented
But this is
reality.
so augmented. It's so it's pretty. That is just awesome.
I like it.
It's like it should be, right? And it's not probably something you're going to have on all the time, but it's going to be.
No, use power.
It's probably this is you see it's pinging. It's active. This is the active radar. So
Yeah,
I really like this.
seems to be a difference between how clear it can get a signal, and you see that it's like and over here it's kind of like blurry objects. I guess are not.
Yeah. But that's one of the things I kind of
Yeah,
like
what it
is
is.
that get an indication there's something there, but we don't know what it is yet. So then you can focus your radar in that direction so it doesn't spread. You can ping in that direction. I'm guessing that you can, from the documents I've read so far, that you will be able to concentrate your search, your active search, so that you're not pinging in 360 direction, to edit to God and everybody. You're limiting who can detect you to a certain direction.
But if you follow modern day military, right? If you are in a submarine, you can detect sonar from the submarine, right? So if somebody is up on the surface pinging with sonar, the submarine can detect that is going on. It's been that way for quite a while now. So I would assume that CIG is going to implement a similar notification system that if you are approaching something and someone's pinging you, you are going to get an indication that you
Not
just
pinging
got
you, but
tagged.
actively pinging in the area.
Right.
There's a difference. There's an active ping, and then there's you're detected.
Right.
Or the likelihood of you being detected is, if somebody's paying attention, is enormous.
It's going to be pretty interesting.
What did Big Fat Resto Cow say? It's
He
hard
said
to
he
follow the
can't
concept.
find who's talking because we're all shoved up in the little corner. So eventually, if you hang out, you'll get to know the voices.
Yeah.
Like, I know I sound just like Eden, but I'm really not.
Yeah,
right?
we all sound the same here.
I get it all the time. Is that Juntao speaking?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's time for a music break anyway. Let's quit that.
Yes. Salt.
Do we have any
I
sauce?
assume you have
Yes.
some then. So then, okay, that'll be nice. Next, that's up next after this little music break. Remember, you can. Looks like William's already done that. You can ask questions, and that the way he just posted that chat message. So that's how you do that. And we'll just go through that at the end of the show. We have a couple of them already. So I saw Pratermeyer in the chat. I was like, oh, he's here. Prepare for a question
But is he's asking questions?
flow,
Sometimes
but no, apparently not yet. We'll see.
He doesn't have any more questions because everything that he's asked in the past, we've answered so thoroughly that he understands the ins and out of Star Citizen like no other backer.
Probably.
Fucking true story.
And how often are we dead wrong, Gentile, on this show?
90%.
Not often.
Shit.
Get out of here.
Shit.
Common sense guided by
Damn.
logic equals 100%
The SCB Round
accuracy.
Table, right?
99.7% accurate.
Yeah. The only thing we on purpose get wrong is when we guesstimate how long this shit is going to take. We have
When
to
it's going to
be
release?
kind of moderate
gets
and
that.
what do you call it? We need to be kind to the listeners so that they don't feel dispersed by us guesstimating too long, dates
Right.
in the future.
So Star Citizen will release next year.
Yeah.
Let's go to music break. We'll be back.
And then next year we'll say the following year, because that's what we've been doing every.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We are back on the air at the Base Radio. That's
The
part of
third
the
block.
song.
Also known as
That's
the
part of the
salt
song.
block.
It is salty.
You mean that solo we have, sir? Yeah.
There is no salt.
So,
Do you have salt?
like, we were chatting during the break, right?
No.
And Superfive said I need to pay attention to the details because it can make the difference between win or lose or get paid or not, right? And I don't know if you're American or not, but in America, win or lose is by superior firepower. Has nothing to do with the details. The more intimidating you are, the more you win.
Fire enough bullets, hope you hit the target.
True. No, I hit the fucking target, but you fire enough bullets and you fucking win. But that's kind of not, I wasn't going in that direction, but that's fine. I'm just saying. They say something about being loud doesn't make you right. Bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
Right?
If I start screaming over you, that means I'm fucking right. That's America.
That's not how it works, Juntao.
Well, it should be.
Just because you're louder doesn't mean it makes you more right. I don't know where people get this, but I think that explains why so many dumb people are so loud.
What are you trying to say?
She just said it. Why the old dumb people are so loud.
That's what yeah. What the fuck was that?
I don't know what you're talking about, Juntao.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Anyway. Yes, in Russia, they just throw more manpower at the problem. That's true.
Yeah.
We throw more bombs
Hey,
and
look.
bullets, and they throw
Food.
more men. Yeah.
Ah, food.
They were talking about how they can put props in props, right? So they can have a
See here?
plate
Yeah,
and
there's
they can
good-
have food on it and they can have stick a fork in that food. What are you doing? What is that?
That's a little dripping piece of sirloin right out of Star Citizen's procedural food.
Holy crap.
Mm.
You need to see this.
This is so good.
Bite out of it.
This is your Cooking with the Base episode.
Gosh,
You
that's
gotta go to
not what I
cooking
meant
in
by
game.
the base.
No, but the idea about that Rellim is pretty cool. That this is all like algorithm driven, as far as I understand. So each item can contain an item inside of the item that can contain another item inside of the item. So a plate can have a bunch of places to contain other items that can have places to contain other items. So that's pretty neat. And it doesn't just apply to food. It applies to all kinds of things when the tech gets fleshed out. So that's pretty neat.
Mhm.
It is tender as fuck.
And people are like, who fucking cares about food, right? Well, when you expand that out to the scope of the game, when they could take this technology, part of the ploy of this game, I like that right there. All sales are final. The more detail, the better, right? That's part of the ploy of this game right now is the aesthetics of it, because it kind of doesn't play that great sometimes. But it looks good and it's fun for a time. It's just not enough content for most people to be engaged for a considerable amount of time. Unless you're like the Daymar Rally people and they just fly fucking dozens and dozens and dozens of cyclones down to Daymar on a daily basis.
Speaking of salt, how
Yes.
many people do you think gonna complain there's not enough vegan or vegetarian
Oh my
dishes.
god. The real question is cultural appropriation a thing in Star Citizen? If I wear a Jean outfit, does that make me a bad person?
It makes you a wannabe, doesn't make you a bad person.
Okay.
You wear whatever you like.
Yep.
I hope so. I hope nobody gets triggered because I'm
Oh, I hope
going
they
to be
do get triggered.
a female avatar and they'll say that I'm sexist or something fucking weird.
I mean, I don't think
You
anybody.
can't play as a female.
I'm
What's
a
that?
female.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if I played a male character, someone's gonna go up to me and like, Eden, that's not right. And my response would be like,
They'll
it's not
tell you
that
you're
explicit.
confused. You're confused and you're not sure which bathroom you should use. That's
I
what they'll
mean,
tell you.
okay. I'm gonna put
Depending on how long though that this game takes to get out, we might have some, and this is real salt. We might have some new rules in terms of what we can say and can say inside the game,
There's a possibility.
especially since it's based in LA or in California.
Yeah, but I don't know how you could enforce that kind of crazy shit like globally. I mean, I guess at some point in the future they could, but at this point, it's just, it's all fucking ridiculous anyway. I mean,
They do try in some of the games.
what
though.
in the fuck are you breaking?
I'm trying to put the screen protector on my Fitbit, and it's not sitting on there perfectly.
So you throw it.
Ah,
Oh
not
my.
too more.
Trigger!
Women.
Not cooperating with me. So I'm getting in that second one.
That's why she's designing buildings, not building them.
Shit. That's good.
Funny to you.
I have that plugin, Prater. I just don't use it because the last time I think T.O. had a fucking meltdown about us using the voice changers. So
It sounds like
Which
fucking
was-
chipmunks for two.
it was funny as fuck. It was fucking funny. Whatever. Anyways, Star
you
Citizen.
have kids, don't
Oh.
you?
What was the salt,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Well, right now it
Eh?
appears that the
Lack
salt
of
is
LTI.
LTI on cash only purchases appears to be the issue. Concept sales that were supposed to have LTI now only have LTI if you use new cash. I'm not exactly sure if that pisses me off or not. Because
It doesn't do
like
anything.
like I said earlier, 2018 for me has no money for CIG. It just doesn't. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking buying any of this stuff. I would like to, but I'm not going to. Just on GP. But for those that want to buy this stuff, I don't quite understand, especially at the price point. You know, I was looking at this stuff. The C2 is $360 US, the M2 is $480 US, and the A2 is $700 US. Now I can see, okay, the 100 series ships, because the price point was so low that there was an issue of people like hoarding up LTI tokens with
Merlin's back
Store
in the day, right?
right, with store credit, and then melting them all and getting all that credit back. So they had all these buybacks of LTI tokens, right? And then what was happening was people on the gray market would have all these buybacks and they wouldn't buy them back until someone bought them off of them. You know, so you would buy a Merlin for what, like $30 or something crazy like that?
Mhm.
I think it was $30. And then
Yeah.
you would turn around and you would sell it for 45, 50, $60, get the money, make the buyback, and make the transaction. That's where the fucking problem started. You know, but when you're talking about a $360 to $700 ship, I don't necessarily think that the same issue applies there, because if you're going to spend $700 on a concept ship, you probably want the ship, right? You're not buying it. Well, maybe you're buying it to sell it on the gray market, but
You're not buying that many. It's not going to be that big of a problem.
right. So it's not like it's a LTI token. It's, you know, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not sure what that means, George. 50/50. I make a ship purchase before 12. I'm not sure what the 50/50 part means.
He wants to bet that you will buy something before the end of the year.
Oh. No. I've allocated all of my resources to something else to distract me from buying ships from Star Citizen. So I've literally taken any money that I would have put into this game and literally put it somewhere else. Maybe.
New computer, joysticks, peripherals.
Right? Yeah.
Kids needs computers, all that shit.
Well, I don't think it's time to upgrade yet, honestly, because of the stupid prices of fucking RAM. And you see that lawsuit now? There's a class action lawsuit against RAM chip manufacturers, just memory chip manufacturers in general. The three major, Micron, Samsung, and what I don't remember what the other one is off the top of my head.
IBM.
But no, that's not it. But there's a class action lawsuit being filed against these fuckbags that they're accusing them of price fixing. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's the accusation. Alleged price fixing. So we'll see where that goes, because RAM is crazy. Fucking crazy, man. It's like 200%, 250% of what it was. Video cards, thank God, are starting to come down. So if you were holding off on buying a video card,
Now's
I think
the time.
if you just hold off, if you hold off just a little bit longer, you'll probably be pretty close to MSRP. I think they're about,
They said June.
15% over MSRP right now, generally speaking.
They should be dropping after June or in June. So
I saw a 1060, Asus 1060 dual for $329 US, which is not bad. I think the market for that was about $275. So it's still overpriced compared to MSRP, but it's not like it was, because the shit was literally like twice as much as it should have been. But RAM is a fucking joke. And if you want to step up, right? If let's say you're going into the Z370, right? Intel's newest chipsets, and you're going on the Z370 platform, it takes specific DDR4 to do that. It doesn't use just any DDR4. There's DDR4 for 170. There's DDR4 for 370. So that causes a fucking problem, right? Because you got to buy $500 worth of RAM. $500 for 32 gigs of RAM? Are you fucking kidding me?
it's not worth it.
It isn't worth it. It's fucking nuts.
I mean, that's why I'm sitting here on my 6-year-old rig. I just upgraded the my water, closed loop water cooling broke on the CPU.
Because it broke, yeah.
I've just changed that, and I'm waiting for the graphic card prices to go down, and then I'll upgrade a graphic card. But that's it. I'm not gonna upgrade anything else until it stabilizes more. But currently, it looks like it's, as long as it's stable, I'm not going to be upgrading until the prices fall onto a normal level for RAM.
Sure.
Because it's not worth it.
Raylan says that they should make video cards just for bit mining and not for games, and this is actually happening right now. There are a few manufacturers. They actually make graphics. They make graphics adapters specifically for bit mining without any video output that have a optimized BIOS for mining, so that they can get whatever the fuck they call it, performance ratio because it obviously costs money to make that money on bit mining. So it uses less power, and the BIOS is optimized in such a way that it can run these algorithms and this math faster than your standard, like, because I got a 1080 Ti, and I'll tell you, I mine. I do. You know, I buy Amazon gift cards with Bitcoin so that I can fucking buy computer components, because that's what I do, right? But I didn't buy the card specifically for bit mining, and I didn't buy like fucking 20 cards like some of the people that we know, because we know a couple dudes that were like buying cards like fucking crazy.
But
So-
that's going to change this fall when the ASCII computers comes out. That is specific for Ethereum, etc. It's going to change. It's going to make it completely unviable using graphic cards. You still can use your graphic cards provided you already have them for something else, but it's going to make it. It's going to make a jump in the speed again on Ethereum, and graphic card is not going to be worth it due to power and the low Bitcoin value.
Well, yeah, but like you say, if you already have the card and you're just doing it like some of our friends just do it when they're not using their computer, they just put on this mining program and let it run. You know, you turn off everything else. You just leave your computer on and let it cook, and then maybe in a week, you know, you make like $25 to $50 depending, you know, on your card. So, you know, $100 a month, $150 a month is nothing to scoff at. You know, I get why people bought the cards, because they were making big fucking money. You know, literally, if you had 10 cards and you were making $2,000 a month, how are you going to tell people that not to do that? That's crazy. But it definitely fucked everything up. Yeah, so didn't fuck anything up for Eden or Rellim, because we finance all their shit.
All their shit. No, you didn't.
No, it's most of it. I'm sorry.
By the way, did you guys see the new
I
stats
don't
coming
have
out
enough
from?
margarita today.
Coming
You don't
out
have enough
from Steam about what kind of computers are being used by gamers today.
A new hardware server,
Laptop.
you mean?
It's still on laptops, isn't it? That's the majority of gamers on Steam.
No, actually, majority of Steam user now is using 4 cores or more. But still, I think was it 13%? No, 31%? It must be 13%. We're still on 2 cores, basically.
Not every game is demanding, you know. So I mean, if you want to play shit like PUBG, Fortnite, any of the AAA titles that come out, Assassin's Creed or Tomb Raider or things of that nature, you kind of need a little bit more power. But there's a lot of games out there that'll still run on a Duo.
Yeah.
And with like 4 gigs of RAM.
So the most popular graphic card right now is GTX 1060. And behind that is the GTX 1050 Ti. And there's like, I don't remember, it's 12 or 13 cards from NVIDIA on the list before you find the
AMD.
first AMD card. Yeah.
No, not even.
No, 14. 14. The 15th card is an AMD, and it's the RX 580.
Because they were cheap, though. The 580s were relatively cheap, comparatively
7.
speaking. And those are 8 gig cards, I think, those 580s. I'm not an AMD guy. I haven't bought anything AMD since like 2001.
No, it doesn't look like they're
And the rest.
they're actually no. Seeing these hardware server doesn't look like they're actually winning any ground back at all. AMD. I think.
You know, 1080p has been here for a while, over 10 years for gaming. And it's still the standard resolution.
And realistically speaking, you don't need more than a 1060 to push 1080 in most titles. You get 100 frames a second on most titles, you know. So why would you
Buy something
spend
more.
twice 100%, 120% more for something that you technically don't need.
Yeah.
And this is what we talked about before. Stay on your current build, upgrade your graphic card based on the resolution you're going to be playing on. And only 3% of Steam players has a 1440p screen. Only 1%
Well, they didn't ask me.
has 4K.
They didn't ask you then.
Well, they do. They measure what you use, what resolution you play in
Steam hardware
automatically.
survey. Yeah.
So, 6 out of 10 is now using 4 cores or more. 3 out of 10 Windows users is using 2-core processors.
When did Windows 10 actually? No, I think that was the most used for some time already. I thought it was still Windows 7 for some.
Well, because Windows 7 gave you a free upgrade to 10,
Yeah,
and
when
then
they
they
did that,
told you
it's-
we're not going to support your OS anymore with security updates, so upgrade now. So,
A couple
Windows-
years, yeah.
Windows 10 is 55%, and Windows 7 is, far behind, but on second place.
yeah, but you know what I don't understand about that is if you have Windows 7, you get a free upgrade to Windows 10.
You got a free update.
Right.
No longer.
So,
yeah.
why the fuck would you stay on 7? I understand 10 had
I've-
issues when it first launched, but it's pretty fucking stable for
I
me.
mean,
I
plenty
don't
of
have
people that just don't want to do that because they're like, oh, you gotta reset
think
up all
they
my stuff
associate
and
it
I
with
lose all
8.
my programs, blah blah blah. I mean, it's just the fat
But you
excuses.
don't.
It's dumb,
They're
but
allergic to
it has to
change.
be done at some point.
They are allergic to change,
Yeah.
upgrading,
Oh,
that's
wow.
probably,
installing
yeah.
Windows.
It's a thing with
And all
here,
that
not
stuff.
really solvable.
Yeah.
If they don't want
Well,
to. Then they
Windows
don't want
did
to.
itself. They did themselves a disservice by releasing that 8.1 bullshit. That OS was fucking trash. So people saw that and they were like, I'm never upgrading off of 7 because this is fucking horrible, right? This whole like app-based crazy bullshit. We don't need that shit. Not as, PC users and gamers. Nobody fucking wanted that nonsense. They were trying to...
They kind of sold it in 8.1, but the damage was already done by.
Well, it hurt the reputation of the OS. And they were like, oh, the future is going to be like tablets and these little, whatever the fuck, the little all-in-ones with the keyboard. They're like mini laptops. They're like a tablet with a laptop. Basically, that's what they thought the future of computing was going to be. But the advent of like the iPhone X and all this shit and Samsung's 8 and all this crap, people don't even use fucking tablets that much anymore because everything could be done ridiculously fast on your phone.
Well, back then, Windows had their own OS on mobile, but they
Oh, it's
discontinued
horrible,
that as well.
dude. It was so bad. I had a Windows phone from work. It was so fucked up. It crashed all the time.
Actually, the current ones, the later ones, weren't that bad. But I mean,
Well, you only get
The
one
apps that
chance to
you
make a
can-
first impression.
yeah. Well, you can get no apps for that stuff anymore. It's discontinued at this point.
So just to summarize that a little bit for those who are thinking about upgrading, if you stick to 1080p as a resolution, if you already have 1080p resolution, your current build with a slight upgrade in more memory on the graphic card or in more memory on your, although upgrading in memory right now is bad due to prices, is all that's necessary to play Star Citizen in 1080p.
Yeah, but
So
let's take that a step further and just before we go to break, because I know Rellim wants to get the music break out of the way, is recommended system build for Star Citizen in particular, specifically Star Citizen. They've already said they're going to try to make the engine utilize as many cores as you have available. So the most CPU you can afford, I would think,
of course, yeah.
is your biggest investment for performance in Star Citizen. And then the second one is what? Isn't it 32 gigs of RAM? fucking minimum in my book. Everybody says 16. Fuck that nonsense.
16 is the new minimum for Star Citizen.
Yeah, but if you look at all the shit,
yeah,
people got issues on 16 that they don't have on 32.
when it's optimized, it's going to be fine. But if you're going to do anything, I mean, anything at all outside the game, and you will lose frames. I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed.
What
But,
Fuggum says too. That's
Yeah,
But we've
Given.
addressed that in the past too, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a given. The best upgrade you could do for Star Citizen at the moment is a solid state drive, right? If you are running on a spinning disc, you need to get the fuck out of the cave. Like for real, because you are living in the Stone Ages and you don't know what you're missing.
you're living at least in the last decade.
Yeah, it's
Or
like
it's mentioned on the
middle of last
website.
decade.
SSD
it's
highly
for the last
recommended.
millennium. Fuck that, dude. It's
Didn't
recommended
used to
for
be-
everything.
it didn't- yeah,
If
well,
you
it didn't
listen
used to
to
be like
any
that, though.
fucking PC
5
builder,
years
they're
ago.
like, dude, you have to have at least your OS running on a solid state drive. Spinning disks are really cool for saving your videos and saving your photos and saving your documents and all that
data,
shit.
yeah. So media. And
Right. But Star Citizen and your OS
all
has
fast.
to be on a fucking SSD. It has to.
Specifically,
My
I got a
opinion.
what terabyte one?
your memory, your virtual memory has to be on an SSD.
Wasn't that expensive. Let's go to music break.
Those-
We'll be back.
Those 1 terabyte 960 Pro M.2s are pretty fucking pricey still. And the Optanes are crazy.
That's why I got like one of those Intel. What are they? 600Ps.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
let's go to music break. We'll go through those questions
Nice.
later.
He
After
uses
this
his tape drive to store his stuff. I
tape
love
run.
it. Mm-hmm. That's old school.
I got old cassettes too.
You are listening to The Base.
We did nothing wrong and you can't prove it.
So
What's up?
Is what?
How come you don't warn us we're coming back live?
because he
Look at
wants
the
to catch
smile.
me saying something fucking nasty.
Wait.
This fucking chat, these blah 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 something something.
Last time you scared off somebody, they never returned.
Dude, fuck that guy.
Or like
I
when
don't
I
even know
was
who that
streaming
was.
something and then you scared that person off, I was like, whatever.
I'm gonna tell you what, right? When you get to a certain age and you have 3 children, you get tired of repeating your fucking self. So you give a set of instructions once, and if those instructions aren't absorbed the first time, you kind of freak the fuck out, right? And it
What did I
applies
tell
to
you, Mom?
everything in the world after that. Right. Did I not give you specific instructions for you to follow? And what about those instructions did you not fucking understand? Please enlighten me as to why you don't comprehend English.
Tell us what
And
you're
that's
doing
where,
live.
oh my God, you're not allowed to say that in this chat, dude. Don't do that.
Because it's like a strike.
I never, ever, ever fucking. Fucking is a fine word to use, but you didn't
Yeah.
quite go there. But yeah, we don't want to do that.
Question.
You want to talk shit about Asians, though? We're good with that.
Yeah.
Oh, he was doing that earlier. He was
Was
asking for something. I'll stop right there.
You wanted to know about your rice maker? It's good, man. I'm good with it. We already had that discussion. She's like, I can make a whole thing of rice and it stays warm and moist for like days. Right? Isn't that the deal? My rice usually dries out. I got to microwave it with fucking water in it to try to get it to kind of come back to life.
Get a good
That's
rice-
why I don't get in the fucking kitchen, because I'll burn some shit down.
Uh-huh.
Anyways,
You can't even be trusted to grill food.
this
Like
is true. That's
Yeah, traditionally, like it's like the man's like job.
I don't have to. That's the point. It's just the point. I married well. I made good choices in my life. It keeps me out of the kitchen. which is good
Out
because
of the kitchen, you get in the way. You don't know what you're doing.
I'm the typical fucking American dad. You know what I can cook? I can kill breakfast like nobody's business. Pancakes, French toast, crepes, shit like that. I can fucking knock it out of the park, right? But when it comes to like barbecue, they don't like it because I like my shit well. And people don't like to chew on rubber that much, but that's how I eat it, right? You know, so my wife does all kinds of stuff to it to make it so it's well done, but it's still tender. And if I do it, it's just like a fucking chewing on a tire for real. So I was barred from the kitchen and I'm not going to, I don't have to go. Fuck it. Whatever. Have you not seen, what's that fucking movie? Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Have you ever seen that movie? Oh my God, you got to watch it. The kid's big thing is the two sons. Their big thing is if I do everything wrong, my dad will never ask me to do anything. So they fucking intentionally fuck everything up so they never get asked to do a chore. They wash his car with mud and shit or motor oil or something. It was great. And then the father comes out and he's like, get out of here. I'll do it myself. Damn it. And they're like, fucking sucker.
That's when you make the kid do it again and again.
Well, that's what I do.
And again and again until they get it right.
They get pissed when I make them cut the grass twice.
Well, maybe
Like,
they learn to do it right the first time. They don't have to do it twice.
All right. Questions. It's enough.
Sorry, that was
John's like, come on.
I can't find that
People. We haven't talked in a while.
Questions. Nope, that's request.
Bot management.
She knows where they're at.
From Omega Zeus DX, how many more land vehicles do you all think will be in Star Citizen, and what capabilities do you think they each should have? I'm gonna say that, yeah.
Would have.
I'm gonna say should.
Well, I would think that where they're at right now is pretty good, but I don't think it's where they're going to stop. But I think they've got basically everything covered, right? They got an exploration rover, multi-passenger. What else? They actually need some sort of APC, right?
Well, vehicles for building during construction, vehicles for
Cranes,
maintenance on mining stations, all that stuff. So I think that civilian vehicles is going to be a thing of diverse attributes, basically.
I like Trash Tub's answers. More tonks and boats.
oh, boats. Are there places with water?
Well, there are places with water like Hurston, but they said they weren't really too sure where they were going to take ships, whether they were going to let ships go underwater or not, which I really don't think they're going to, honestly. I think it's too complicated.
No.
I don't know. Isn't like being underwater kind of like being in space, except there's pressure, which makes a big difference, I guess. Pressure on the hulls.
Yes.
Yes.
Taking a U-boat into space is going to be
too easy.
Energy heavy, because it's pretty damn it's weighs a lot basically for the structure to be in there
for now. But definitely, like you said, maintenance and construction vehicles.
Yeah, We Hamster said wait till we start making roads.
Ooh.
Could you imagine like designing your own city?
Oh, yes. Unleash me onto a planet.
And then all these bastards with their A2 fucking Hercules bombers come and just start carpet bombing your fucking city. Bastards.
What about building
defenses?
An underground city?
Mm-hmm. Like a bunker.
Yeah. That's still up in the air whether they're going to allow that kind of stuff, because right now CryEngine doesn't allow, or Lumberyard doesn't allow for voxelization, like actual digging. Everything that could be mined has to be an asset, and the planetary tech isn't voxelized in such a way that you could even make a hole in the ground, I don't think, at this point.
No, they can do that localized voxeling.
They could, yes. Yes.
So, but I think that
Oops.
instead they would just do a insert. For instance, they would have some sort of engine inserting some sort of building into, so you wouldn't see a big ass hole being dug in the inside of the mountain. You would just see an engine, and a small opening, and then that's it. And then there will be inserts of different components into there, so you wouldn't see the actual inside. You will only see the structures. For whatever they decide to do, they've showed us that they're going to do, at least in the visual arts, that they're going to have buildings inside mountainsides, etc. So we'll see. I mean, you see the big trees, buildings and trees. You've seen the big valleys, but what do you call it? Old style buildings built into the rocks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question from the Stealth DJ. Should players be able to lose ships they paid cash for?
Yes.
No,
Well, yes.
I don't think so.
Should they be able to?
He means
They
like
should
in the
be
end
able
game.
to.
Yeah.
But
There
will
won't be
they?
any difference between them.
The difference
But-
is that they will not allow you to lose the insurance on a ship that you paid for.
They already stated
yeah.
that it's not going to be a thing. And it was actually brought up in chat when this question hit. The response was the legal issues, and I agree with this 100%. The legal issues of stripping someone of a game asset that they paid real life money for, CIG can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You didn't buy the
Because
ship.
Okay, well,
Is that
yes and
really
no.
going to be
so
an issue?
That's
They call it.
but legally, fuck yeah, legally, dude. Fuck. If you paid real life dollars for it, yeah, you
Yeah.
get a big ass class action lawsuit, and this whole project gets shut the fuck down. So we don't want to fuck with that. I say, that's why I just said, just fucking give everybody LTI on the shit that they buy. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Haul insurance, get your goddamn ship back, and forget about it. Everything else you put on it, aftermarket components and guns and shit like that, yes, you're gonna lose it. Fuck it, it's gone. But the hull, the basic hull that you paid, some of these ships like the 890 Jump, $600, the Idris, $1,200, the Javelin, $2,000. Fuck no, dude. They could take that away from you. That'd be asking for bigger trouble than they want, and they've already stated that they're not going to do it. You'll be penalized in game, though. You'll have to wait. Like, if you don't have insurance on your ship and you go out, your wait time's going to be crazy, is what they said. But you won't lose your ship.
I don't think they will allow you to fly without insurance on ship.
I hope they don't. I hope it's like we said. You get a notification as soon as you turn that ship on, a Moby Glass alert pops up that says, sorry, you can't fly. Pay your premium.
What if you're a pirate and live outside the realm of UEE?
Well, you got to have insurance to pirate
There's going to be pirate insurance.
factions. Yeah. Yeah, they already said that.
Okay. So sorry, guys. There's no loopholes around insurance, apparently.
No, I don't think so.
Next question from Omega Zeus. Which recently... Zeus, please double check your grammar before sending in these questions. I'm calling you out.
You gotta like
George, he
reread
has
them.
no grammar.
Oh my gosh. Your first language is English, please.
With the recently focus on the planets in the future.
Okay.
The hell, the question
With the
doesn't make sense.
With the recently focus on planets in the future, do you think there will be underwater ships, sea to land vehicles, and could there be capital-sized land vehicles? Capital size? Oh hell no! If they are, what would you like them to be able to do?
I think that the potential for underwater ships is a thing. I think sea to land vehicles could be a thing. The
At a
ships
later
that you,
stage.
the currently purchased vehicles, ships, I don't think that they're going to do that.
I think there might be specific ships that can go underneath, but they're not going to be spaceships. They might fly in local atmosphere, but and then go underwater, but they will not definitely go into space.
I hope they don't take it too far.
What is capital size?
Land
Like-
mining ships, mining rigs, for instance, that can move.
Yeah, like an Orion underwater.
Or on land, a mining station that moves on larva feeds.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be cool if you could like do underwater mining?
In the future, yes. Right now, that's a feature creep. Stop.
This is
giving them
true.
ideas. Although I'm pretty sure they've visited that many times already.
Okay. Next question from Inovis. Anyone on the show going to CitizenCon?
Nope.
No, I will not be going to CitizenCon. It's on a Wednesday.
Dude, the ticket's already out anyway.
There's still tickets available,
No. Well,
but there is no way in hell
no way in hell you can. Yeah.
that as an American, right, I am going to burn my precious vacation time to go hang out with all you geeks. It's hard enough to set aside 2 hours a week to do this show. And my vacation is important. I got shit to do. You know, this house doesn't fix itself, you know.
Dare doesn't shoot itself.
It does not.
I know, Nax. I want to go, but it's like smack dab in the middle of the week.
You went 2 years ago.
I did go 2 years ago, but it was like on a Friday that I could do. I could take one day off and, head out there. Head out.
Where the
on
hell is it this year anyway?
It's on a Wednesday in Austin.
Yeah.
And
It's a really nice looking venue though, and it's way bigger than was. It's not like whatever 400 people this time.
it's like 650 now or something.
No, I think it's
It was 1,000, right?
1,600. I think it's even
16.
more.
Oh, sorry. I missed a number. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, damn,
I
well.
think. So it's going to be a big event. So the whole personal feel of the CitizenCon may be a thing of the past. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
think
if you
they're
want-
going to have enough time to talk to everybody.
If you want that, just go to Bar Citizens. And sometimes even CIG personnel goes there, so it doesn't really. You just want
Well, you know what
get
you
any-
do. It's as someone like me, or let's just use you for example. You go to get on a train on a Friday to get to the UK on a Saturday to go to a Bar Citizen to turn around and get on another train to go back to the Netherlands.
Get on a train over the sea, right?
There's is
Under
there a
the
train
sea.
that goes under the English
There is,
Channel?
yeah, it's a tunnel.
Yeah.
For France.
So, but that would be the thing. I live in Michigan. I'm like way up here and they're all way down there. So, that's a 23-hour drive or an $800 flight to go hang out with a bunch of dudes and drink beer and talk about Star Citizen when we could do that here.
Which is I find hilarious because it's a $380 flight tickets from Oslo to Austin, Texas.
Last year,
That's true.
you said it was
that's-
$600, and I was going to pay $800 if I was to go to Austin.
No,
It was cheaper to go to Norway to Texas,
Isn't that crazy?
my state.
I just
Supply and
checked the
demand.
prices to go to Memphis the other day.
I'll try to-
Memphis, Egypt?
Dude, are you smoking rocks again?
Yeah.
Memphis
Next
is nice.
question from Blackbird Blitz. Tell me why my OS needs to be on an SSD on my gaming PC if my games are on my SSD. I don't care about my gaming PC boot time.
Oh, you
A lot
do.
of so I can explain this a little bit before I have to go. First off, the most important bit is your, depending on how much RAM you have, of course, your virtual memory. That's usually on your C drive. It has to be on an SSD. It will otherwise slow down the fuck down on your computer, especially on memory-hungry applications like Star Citizen. The second part is a lot of the access files is also run on C drive, although you install it on the game, etc. It usually likes to go into my documents and all that stuff, which usually is located in C. So unless you want to go out around changing everything where
Which I
everything is
actually moved.
located manually, you need to have your OS, your C drive, as an SSD. Simple.
Next question from Pratermeyer. What are your opinions about the salt that came out of the recent early access ship sale, specifically regarding the prices themselves? The price difference between War Bond and store credit and the LTI, does it affect your views on CIG or your future funding of the project?
Nope.
No, me personally, like I said already, I have no funds allocated for CIG in 2018. I think it's kind of crazy, but I get it, right? You got to get it based on the fact that they need the money. They need people to stop like playing the whole melt buy thing. They need cash. You want to see the game get built, they fucking need the money. It's kind of shady, but I get it.
Yeah, but they are trying to target the people that hasn't bought as much as you and me. I've spent enough money. You have spent enough money. If you're concierge by any measure, you have spent enough money on this game. You don't need to spend any more money on this game. That's why Junta is not spending any more money. That's why I'm not spending any more money. If I'm ever going to do anything, it's going to be restacking my deck. That's it. Nothing else.
What I don't understand about the sale though is why do they have this pre-sale for just concierge members? What is the purpose of that actually, really?
To make you feel like a fucking special snowflake.
I get, yeah, that's probably the only reason I can think of too, is like, yeah, so this is a concept ship, so you don't actually gain anything.
All right, see you, man.
By getting it. Oh, see ya. See, yeah, you don't gain anything by buying it beforehand. It's just like, it's a concept ship. You have it in your hangar before the other guys do. What the hell does that even matter? Nothing. So yeah, it has to do with the status.
Apparently, it matters. Exactly, it matters to some people because it makes them feel fucking special at that point. So now he jacked up all your frames again. Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about it before, right? I got a decent amount of money into the project. It doesn't make me any more fucking important than the guy who bought the $45 game package back in the day. Not in the least. You know, everybody who's participating in the funding of this game is important as the next guy. And anybody who thinks that they're fucking special because they got the concierge card or I got my wing commander certificate or whatever the fuck, you know, you're obviously either an asshole or an idiot if you think you're special because you had more money to spend on the project than somebody else. You know, do we appreciate people buying shit? I do. I want to see the game get made, and I want to see it get made epically. So the more money they have, the better, in my opinion. So, but
and more ships.
I think it is just that. Well, yeah. And more ships is not a bad thing for Star Citizen. More diversity is not a bad thing for Star Citizen. Just like we were talking about that deal with the plates and the cups and the forks and all that shit. That's cool. It adds life to what would be a lifeless space game. So it's important. But I think it's exactly what you said. It makes people feel like they're more important than the next guy. Because for some reason, that's what we need as human beings, is to feel special.
Next question from Faber1 TV. Will Cyberpunk 2077 by big publisher like CD Projekt Red renew the interest in sci-fi games and potentially bring more players to Star Citizen?
How about maybe?
Maybe.
I've followed it to a certain extent. It looks pretty cool. There's Cyberpunk, and there's a bunch of them that are like isn't there like one based around like some frozen apocalypse thing that's supposed to be like steampunk based. I don't remember. I saw it the other day. Looked pretty cool. When it's somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about just off that, but I don't remember what it's called, but it looked pretty neat.
All right. Last question. From
Frostpunk, see? Next. Frostpunk. They all know. I don't know what I'm talking about. They all know what I'm talking about. That's crazy. Sorry.
Last question from Predemeyer. Why use MOABs when you can nuke the entire site from orbit?
Mobs.
Since it's the only way.
Because you can't. Because you physically can't. They've already said they weren't going to allow orbital bombardment in this game.
That would be way too easy, yeah.
It would be way too easy.
A big giant space laser.
Was that it? That was all of them?
That was the last one.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll just address a bunch of this shit real quick about like sci-fi space-based games, right? Way back in 2013, 2014, I was bored as fuck. And I was trying to still hold on to World of Warcraft, and it just wasn't doing it, right? They changed that game so
Too
much
easy,
that it
yeah.
just wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing anymore, right? So I'm like, all right, well, I'm into Star Wars, into Star Trek, into all this sci-fi stuff. Let's find a fucking sci-fi game based in space that we could play. You know, well, there wasn't one. Star Wars: The Old Republic to a certain extent, but that game's broke as fuck, right? And there was this project, Star Citizen, promised something pretty fucking big, right? And there was Elite Dangerous, side by side, and those were the only two that I found. And now it's like, besides Space Engineers, but Space Engineers is way too complicated for me. I don't want to do math like that when I'm gaming and engineering and stuff. I just don't want to do it. But now there's like hundreds of them, hundreds of space-based games that you see popping up all the time. And where did that interest come from? Did it maybe come from the fact that CIG raised like $190 million on a fucking idea? Probably. So I think it's exactly the opposite. I think Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous spawned interest in space sci-fi as opposed to other games spawning interest in Star Citizen. Just my thought.
Yep.
He says, can we have the church?
What church?
I think he's talking about the sermon.
I don't know.
I was listening to that the other day at work. It was on your SoundCloud. So it popped up on the list.
Here's an interesting point that Blackbird makes. What do you guys think of basing Star Citizen on World War II air combat versus basing it on modern day combat? And he says he would like to go with modern day combat. And I'm thinking that, you know, it's just the general principle of how World War II combat worked, but the game kind of plays more like modern combat than World War II. But I think it's the theme that they're going for more than the mechanics, because the mechanics are obviously like more futuristic, right? World War II was pretty static. Nothing?
Fuck, I don't know.
They don't know history. These Europeans, they don't know what World War II was.
Don't say
It's
that
not like
again.
you have to hit the front door, right?
Right.
That's terrible. Just kidding.
Actually, it was last Friday. They were liberated in 45. That was May 4th. the Star Wars Day is also Liberation Day for the Netherlands.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, may the 4th be with you.
Yeah, thank you, Americans.
Revenge of the 5th was yesterday, right? That was funny.
Is that what?
Yeah, Revenge of the 5th. May 5th.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. They played Star Wars all day on TV. I don't know, like I was telling Eden on Twitter, I think Star Wars is dead to me now. The old stuff is cool, but you know, I got around to watching was it The Last Jedi? Was that the last one? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And it was okay, but the way they did Luke Skywalker at the end was bullshit. It was just bullshit. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but it was bullshit.
It's bullshit. No, Rogue One.
And the
I saw
Solo
that
movie
one
is
was
turning
pretty
out to. Rogue One was probably the best since the 70s. Everybody dies. What's that?
Huh?
You got to be closer to your mic. You're really echoey. Get
Sorry.
in that fucking.
What is it?
What is
I
it?
said Rogue One is one of the best, and the newer movies, I think they're just trying to milk more money off of it. Like, they had cutscenes to random children with the, you know, I'm not going to spoil it, to hint at other things. And I was having this discussion with one of my friends, and it's because the director had a contract to make 2 more movies related to Star Wars, but not related to the Skywalker family. So there you go. There's at least 2 movies in the future about the Star Wars world that doesn't involve the main canon.
Well, Solo comes out on the 25th.
But he's part of the main like character.
So where the fuck are they going to take it then? Rey is going to start educating fucking Jedi to fight against Kylo Ren? I mean...
Or it could be about the new, you know, rebels, because you saw what happened, you know, throughout the movie. There's hints that there could be more people. I don't know. The thing is, like, there's a contract for more movies that's not related to this main storyline.
Well, I'll just tell you, like, Disney is like EA and they ruin everything.
Yep. Oh, this movie was successful. Let's add more sequels until people get sick of it.
Yeah, they're destroying a really good franchise.
Mickey
In my
Mouse
opinion.
and
It's
Star
all my
Wars.
opinion. Right?
Blackbird, they kind of are gearing towards, you know.
Well, that is a
kinda.
purpose, yeah.
Jar Jar Binks killed it for me. I hate Jar Jar Binks. To this day, I still do. It's the
Well,
worst.
at least
Are
the
we done
majority
now?
of the chat agrees that Rogue One was so good and Star Wars is dying because of Disney. So
It was so good. I could go watch that movie again.
Yeah, you could do that. In the meantime, I guess we can end this. We have another show next week. Do we have any scheduled guests? Where did that calendar go? I don't think so.
I have been busy to reach out to people, and I know Eden's been busy to reach out to people. So here you go. Here's an interesting little thing. If you would like to be a participant in the Star Citizen Base Roundtable and you are currently watching on this stream, you are relatively invited depending on your demeanor. I would obviously have to have a conversation with you to make sure you're not a complete fucking dickbag like me, because there can only be one. And it's a true story. But you can reach out to me at TheBase Pirate on Twitter, or Eden at Eden5TAR on Twitter, and let us know that you would like to participate, and we can schedule you. That would be fun, because you are the community, and this is a round table, and we should have a discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Give your ideas. You can find all of us on Discord mostly, but yeah, Twitter works too. The Discord and that link to the chat. It's where the base people are at. And all of the shows are archived on that YouTube that's on there as well.
You can't invest.
Nope.
I'll make an exception for you in particular. He can be the second dickhead on the show. That's what he was saying.
Uh-huh. The
We need
Alien
new
franchise
franchises.
also kind of died too. Okay.
But yeah, let's go. Let's just go. That's it. We'll see you all next week. You can catch the rerun or no, the archived on YouTube. That's where we archive the shows. So this one will be up in a couple of days there as well. But until next week, see you around the verse, and catch all the other shows to the base whenever you like some of them. We got something for everyone, so definitely check it out. See ya. Yeah.
Bye.
I support the monkeys. Do you? Check out The Base, 24/7 online radio.
Oh yeah.
Visit us at TheBase.sc. They're professionals.